Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Critical Reactions with your host, Bryan. Today we're going to continue on with some of these unusual genre mashups, which so far have been pretty interesting. We've seen some pretty cool genre mashups combining two genres that typically don't go together and smashing them together. And today we're checking out a band that might sound a little familiar. We're looking at Panopticon, who we checked out just this last weekend during special selection. Johan says that we should check out the song Where Mountains Pierce the Sky. It's black metal and bluegrass. I'm going to be real honest. We just listened to some Panopticon, and I don't know how they're going to put bluegrass in that. I don't know how bluegrass is going to work with black metal, anyways, but especially not with the type of music that I heard them create when we checked them out a few days ago. So, let's get into this. Let's see what's up with Panopticon. I really like that woodwind. It's showing up in the back a little. It sounds like a clarinet or a recorder. Just really beautiful layering here. Really good counterpoint. Laying down some really nice, like a sound floor for the melodies to play over. I like that fermata they had moving in here. Really nice. Drummer just killing it, man. We're hearing a little bit of that punk again. I will never get used to that punk drumming with the black metal screams. This is straight up a punk breakdown right here. This is so weird. Dude, the drummer, as usual, just stealing that spotlight. Switching between on-beat and off-beat with those snares. Interesting crossfade on that guitar melody. The speed of those alternating bass kicks and snares is just redonkulous. Classic punk halftime. It's a weird mix, right? We'll get into that later, but it's strange, interesting. Oh, I caught some of the bass right there. I do like the bluesy opening and ending. I don't know if a black metal track should make me so happy, but I mean, yeah, this one does. This one just, I don't know, man. It makes me want to go skanking around. What was it called? When you like kind of danced and kicked your feet out in front of you in like a circle, like running around the outside of a mosh pit. Oh man, what was that called? It was like real big in the mid 2000s in like the punk rock, ska, hardcore. I think it was called skanking. I don't. Anyways, it makes me want to do that. Like with a big group of people just run in a circle. It it's such a happy black metal song. I know Johan said that that was bluegrass plus doom, or sorry, bluegrass plus black metal, and yeah, I mean the bluegrass was there at the beginning and the end. I didn't really hear any like compositional tricks, or I guess I would say like compositional tropes being used in the metal part that comes from bluegrass. If there's any sort of inspirations there, I didn't really hear any. Um, but I did get a little bait and switch on that because I went in expecting bluegrass and black metal, and I ended up getting punk rock slash ska and black metal. And we had that the last time we checked out Panopticon, which I said was last weekend, but I think it was actually last week during side projects. Um, I don't remember now. My memory's so bad these days. Getting old is horrible. But yeah, so I mentioned it in the last time we checked out Panopticon. There were a couple of sections where the drummer was kind of leaning into some punk ideas, and this song is just an encapsulation of that. I would even say that there are several sections here if they were remixed, because the screams they have like a growliness to them, but they are a bit higher up in the register, And I do think that they are kind of close to like a mid 2000s, early 2010s hardcore fry, like a fry that was commonly utilized in, hardcore, post hardcore. No, not hardcore. We're gonna stick with that. Post hardcore went with the a more modern fry that a lot of people are using now. But it's that very open, like it's almost a growl. You get very open throat, open mouth, very wide sound, very wild sound. It's not really controlled much at all. It doesn't sound. Um, but if we brought that a bit up in the mix, brought it a little bit to the front, pulled the drums back. The drums are so far in the front of the mix, it's insane. They overpower everything. The sound is right there in your face. It's almost impossible not to, especially the bass kick. The bass kick takes up it's so prominent that I don't understand how it got mixed this way. It has to be intentional. There's no way somebody listened to that and then accidentally put the bass kick so far in the front of the mix. Um, but yeah, if we remix this a little bit and we brought the vocals forward a little bit, brought the drums back, and kind of took some of the bass out and kind of went high in the trebles, there's several sections in here I think we could easily mistake for some like punk hardcore stuff. Um, it's like the guitars. All right, so my mind is having a real hard time comprehending this. There's so many sections where the guitarists are all in the upper register doing tremolo picking with very little movement. I mean, if we turned it into whole notes, we'd get something like da 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 da, which is just it's so punk. You just kind of stick within like 1, 3, 5, maybe the octave, maybe a seventh if you want to get a little edgier, get into that hardcore sound. But you basically stick with your power chord and you walk up and down those notes, or maybe you walk up and then go back to the home or whatever. And that's it's just so punk to do that in the higher register. Um, the bass is probably doing the least punky thing. It's walking. We got a bit of a bass line going on, although there are a few sections where it kind of plays the root of the chord in those eighth or 16th notes that the guitar is doing and just sticking to the chord roots, maybe with a little walk up to end out the phrase, like on the the fourth chord of the progression, and then maybe like do 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 do, and I go back into playing the root again. And then the drums, man, they got the gallops, they got the alternating bass and snare on uh, bass gets the odd beats, snare gets the even beats, and even syncopate every once in a while, switch it up, and alternate which one has which beat, and it's so punky. It's just the mix, and well, I don't know why I keep grabbing my head. I think it's his hat, but my hair's a mess today. There are definitely it's not like this could be a punk song. There is a ton of black metalish niche in it. Um, we got Wall of Sound. A lot of the tone is black metal. We have crazy, lengthy blast beat sections. The alternating snare and bass gets ramped up to its most extreme in some ridiculously fast alternating hits. So it's like punk turned black metal. It's still a punk line, a punk pattern, but they just ramped it into the speed that you would normally hear blast beats at. Um, and then, of course, like I said, the sound of the instruments. There's a lot of distortion. There's lots of grouping and clumping as far as instrument identities go. A lot of the instruments are kind of pushed into a central sound, rather than having any sort of distinctive uniqueness to them. And I talked about this a couple of times with bands like this, where normally I prefer instruments to be very separate in the mix. I prefer very clean recordings and playbacks. And that doesn't mean that the sound can't be compressed or distorted to get a specific texture, but I still like each unique instrument to be listenable on their own. And Panopticon, just like the last time we listened to them, it's more about melding all of the distinct sounds into like a single ball. And it's really hard to hear individual instruments because the song itself is more important. And we can even see that ideology in the vocals, where a lot of bands would normally spotlight the vocals and bring them to the front of the mix to make sure everybody can hear them. It's just kind of natural, and just our sort of modern idea of music is to connect with the vocals first and maybe connect with the music later. Not always not always true. A lot of popular music in pop and rap, a lot of the main, not rap, yeah, rap, any sort of mainstream music, the music is sort of set dressing for the vocals. All right, that's why we have artists. You have your Britney Spears and your Jennifer Lopez's, and I feel really outdated with these examples. I mean, I don't. Your Billie Eilish's and your Lady Gaga's. See, I'm modern. I'm hip. Um, we have the artist. They are the singer. We don't know who plays the instrument. We don't know who engineered the song. They're not important. The singer is the important part. It's so emphasized in modern music that we don't even know who creates the music. The songwriters. They're invisible. We only know about the singer because the singer is the focal point of a lot of modern music. Um, and that's the same thing with the lyrics. A lot of people connect with the lyrics. Maybe the music gives them the emotion that they're supposed to get from the lyrics, but it's set dressing. It's there to buttress up the lyrics so that it's something to, so it's a song. I don't think very many spoken poetry or acapella. Well, there is some acapella stuff, but it's not mainstream. I mean, we have Pentatonics, Straight No Chaser, big acapella names, but they're not as big as your pop and rap and stuff like that. So yeah, the music is very important, but it's also not important. But yeah, so I went on a big tangent there. This song, or this band, two songs by them now, we see that the vocals are really recessed, pulled into the mix. They're there to add texture, and a lot of the muddiness is also applied to the lyrics. I specifically am not a fan of this at all. I understand that that's just how they get their sound, to get that unified, ball of sound that you just get enveloped in. But man, it's just like with the instruments. I liked these guys put work into their craft, into their guitar work, into their drum work, into their vocal work, into the lyrics. Right? Lyric writing is a craft just as much as the performance is. Music writing is a craft just as much as the performance is actually playing it on your instrument. And I like to hear the individual work. I like to hear the lyrics and see how they work with, the themes being displayed in the music itself. And definitely in this song, the lyrics became a texture. The vocal work became a texture. I could not understand a single word. There was a kind of a lack of enunciation, which did not help it at all, but the mix is just real muddy and distorted and compressed. And I just have no idea what he was saying. It was just this random screaming, as far as I'm concerned. Could have been another language. I barely picked up syllables, so it's such a stark difference than what we see pretty much everywhere else with vocals. Um, I don't know where I was going with that. That was leading into something. Come on, Brian. Oh, get your thoughts together. I don't know. The mix is just weird for me though. Like the guitars are recessed, the vocalist is recessed, but that drum is just so prominent. It's very hard not to listen to the drum. And then the bass is hidden a lot. And I think a lot of that is due to the bass kick. I told you it's very loud, very prominent. I'd say it and the snare are the two loudest sounds on this song. And that's just interesting. But I will say, though, that drummer kills it, man. He starts off strong. And I think it was Panopticon that I mentioned that the drummer had like hidden talent. Like he knew when to just play it safe, but he had like some killer skills he showed off in the second half of the track. I think that was the Panopticon track. Um, but this one just, he starts out strong, he plays strong throughout. He's always changing it up while the guitars and bass are sort of creating the central sound for a section, creating that wall of sound, getting the main riff and just repeating it, repeating it, repeating it. The drummer's just changing it up every 8 bars. Let's throw a different pattern in there. Let's put some gallops in there. Let's go halftime. Let's go double time. Let's alternate bass and snare. Let's just always tons of ideas, just changing it up all the time. Plus all those ridiculous fills he tossed in there. I really didn't want to talk about just the drummer, but he stole the show for me. 100%. Just that and all the like punk inspiration in here. I don't know, man. It's a weird song. I don't even really know how to talk about it because it defies a lot of what I come to expect with black metal and with kind of some of the post rock, post metalness that's in here, where it's not so much about the notes, but about the textures and building of an idea into a wall of sound. And each of the instruments aren't individually represented, they're more of amassed into a single whole of the song. So yeah, there's like some black metal, post metal, punk. And then I thought the bluegrass stuff was nice bookends for it. I'm not really sure how it fits. I kind of heard some similarities in some of the melodic ideas, but I might just be ascribing that to what I heard, trying to tie that together because for the most part, it does feel kind of separate. The minute intro and the minute outro feel very separate from the 10 minutes in the middle. Very interesting song though, and makes me want to listen to more Panopticon. Just because it puts a smile on my face. It really, I can't stop. I can't not smile listening to that drummer and those guitars. Like I said, even the vocal kind of has like a late 2000s, very wide, uncontrolled fry to it. It's just so recessed, it sounds more like a black metal growl. But when I really hone in and listen to it and try to separate it from the rest of what's going on, I do get some of that. Uh, what was that band we checked out way, way back? We're talking like January or February. Um, I think it was a lyric video with footage from Van's Warped Tour, and it was not necessarily my cup of tea, but it was definitely like an early to mid 2000s hardcore band. Very dissonant in the guitar work, and the singer had one growl, no dynamics to it at all. I can't remember. But like that kind of music is just very prevalent here. And even that singing style, I'd say there's a lineage, there's some inspiration in this singing. I don't know, I just want to check out more Panopticon. It's black metal you can dance to. What more could you want? Oh man, this is where you guys come in though. I let you know what I thought of the track. You let me know what you thought of the track. Hit me up in the comments. Let me know your thoughts. And I suppose any other Panopticons. We are the Panopticons. Roll out! Any other Panopticon songs that might be more like this one, where it has a lot of the punk-ishness kind of on its sleeve, right out in the open to listen to. Not so much like the last one, where it was kind of hidden in there and it was more about the slow burn. Last time was really a slow burn. This one, I mean, this one had the slow buildup, but that drummer was just changing things up all the time. Yeah, let me know though if there's any other Panopticon songs like this one. And yeah, that wraps this guy up. You can check out the description box if you enjoyed what you saw. There's some links in there for some adjacent stuff to the channel, like the Twitter and the other things in there, blocked videos, and a link to the Patreon if you'd like to help vote on what we do in the future, or if you'd like to join the Discord community. The Patreon is where it's at. Both of those things can be had for just $1 a month. All right, we'll be back tomorrow with what day is today? Today is Tuesday. We'll be back tomorrow with the first random pick for this week. Thursday will be the second random pick, and Friday will be my personal pick, which I'm fairly excited about. I'm kind of excited about all this coming up. I kind of have a vague idea about one of the bands in the random, and the Friday one's just going to be a lot of fun, I think. I have a little bit of knowledge about that one, kind of know what I'm getting into, but don't have a lot of experience with that band. So, yeah, real cool stuff. All right, I'll be back tomorrow, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 10 p.m. UTC, as always. And until then, you keep being safe, you keep being awesome, and tune back in for another episode of Critical Reactions tomorrow. Keep being fantastic, regardless of when you watch my stuff. See ya.